Monamolin has never had a fete before, and it seemed a good idea to the organisers to open it with Tim being buried alive in a local Raheen or fairy fort. The trouble was, who was going to dig the grave? Well, certainly not the men of Monamolin themselves. Turn one sod of that fort, they said, and you'll never have a day's luck. There's not a man in the village would dare to touch it.
I'm a poor man, and I wants money the worst way. And I'll tell you the truth, if you give me £1,000 tomorrow morning, I wouldn't dig a spit with a spade in it.
Well, what about the fairy field now, where they've changed it to?
The fairy field and the Raheen is all the same to me. I wouldn't meddle with it. And God between us and all harm, I don't want to see anyone around here meddling with it, with that enchanted place.
Peter Bryan isn't alone in his fear of the power of the wee people. So Tim Hayes faced a dilemma. Where was he going to get men to dig the grave for him? Obviously he'd have to seek them out among his own workmates at Cork Dockyard. Tim, why do you want to go down in a fairy fort?
I just want to prove to the whole world that there's no such a thing as a fairy.
You're a man who obviously doesn't believe in fairies.
I don't believe in fairies. Although I've been warned by several people not to go down, not even to go near the fairy fort. In fact, I had a letter from a widow from Douglas in Cork last night, and she said she saw a fairy 30 years ago, and she hadn't an hour's luck since. I think that's only on Pishog.
You're not going to take any notice of it anyway?
No, I'm not going to take any notices of it.
But you see, there are a lot of people like that widow woman you were talking about who do honestly believe in this, isn't that so?
Oh, definitely. In fact, my mother believed in it, and my uncles, and all down outside Middleton there's a few fairy forts, and they wouldn't even go up around it.
Well, you know, of course, that in Wexford they've had difficulty in finding anybody to dig the grave for you.
That's right. I have two chaps from Cove here.
And obviously, like yourself, they don't believe in it.
Oh, they don't believe in it. In fact, a few of the dockyard workers here said they'd dig it for me.
Let me put this to you, Tim. In going into graves like this and burying yourself in the ground, there's a risk in this always, isn't there?
There's an awful risk in it, really. I mean, the way I go down, there was no one ever went down in the conditions I went down under.
Well, are you not pushing your luck a bit